And welcome to this beautiful Facebook Live called I Got My Miracle. I have these amazing souls that were so kind to say yes when I asked, would you be willing to do this interview today? And so this is Paul from Australia and Elizabeth from North Carolina. So thank you guys for saying yes. Thank you. It means a lot.
Pleasure.
It means a lot that people are willing to open their hearts about what happened this week, about the miracles that you experienced this week. So I'd love to start ladies first with Elizabeth. Little birdie told me this is your second time here at
It is.
Rythmia. Yeah. So Elizabeth, can you take us back to you making the decision to come to Rythmia the first time?
The first time. So they say that when the medicine calls you, like it's a clear calling, and it was like that for me in meditation. Like every meditation, it was just constant. And so I started to research places that I wanted to go, and I had this big elaborate plan that I was going to go to Peru and ride a longboat for 2 hours and be in the jungle in a thatched roof hut. And I mentioned that to my eldest son, and he was like, I don't think that sounds safe. You need to find something that's a little safer. So instead of just randomly searching, I put in the word safest place.
Oh, cool.
And
Okay.
so that's how I came to Rhythmia. And so I love the fact that there's medical staff and that they check you when you first get here. And so just having that level of comfort, it just gave me doing something so unusual. I felt safer in the environment. So that's what initially drew me here the first time.
Oh, that's beautiful. And yeah, so okay, now that's good to know. When you type that's amazing, and it's true. The level of openness that happens. At least I can speak for myself. When I knew that there were going to be doctors and nurses and shamans and helpers, you're like, okay, now I can take the leap into doing something that I've never done before.
Very true. Yeah.
What about you, Paul? Because you're coming all the way from the other side of the world.
Yeah,
How did you
yeah.
find out about it?
Oh, well, it took about 2.5 days to get here, but it was a good journey. Initially, to actually get here, it was a journey in itself, making the choice. But the coincidence that happened along the way, things that just fell into place and enabled me to come, including the money.
Okay.
When I made the decision that that's what I wanted, and I saw the YouTube documentary, The Reality of Truth, and that just cemented it for me. That was it. I knew then that's what I had to do, and the level of commitment. Then when I looked into Rythmia on the website, all the support that was offered, and the counselling, the support of all the staff from the cleaners, the gardeners, through to the doctors, the shaman. There was such a commitment, and I felt safe in my heart.
Yeah.
And thought, well, with that support, I can move forward.
Okay.
And then the amazing thing was the money just came to me so easy. I never had it. I was sort of scratching my head thinking, how am I going to get it?
Yeah.
And it just happened. Fell into place.
Love it.
And that was brilliant.
You just had to say yes, and the universe is like, okay,
Here it
here's
is.
your support.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's beautiful.
I moved forward. Now I'm here.
And then you're here
It's great.
doing this Facebook Live with us.
Yes, exactly.
All the way here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. And so I'd like to go back to you, Elizabeth. So you came, this is your second time. How would you say, because the name of this Facebook Live is I Got My Miracle. So I'm sure by now you've gotten so many miracles. Can you take us, bring it to the heart of the matter? Like, what would you describe your miracles have been these 2 times here at Rythmia?
Oh, wow, that's such a big question.
I know,
because
sorry.
When I think of what I've received, words are not an adequate container.
Right.
But I would say that the biggest thing for me is being in my heart.
Yeah.
So I spent my entire life basically being a very masculine female. And not being in my heart, really relying on intellect. I was type A, And being here, that is the greatest miracle. I mean, my heart has been just completely, it's interesting, like visually speaking, it was in my journey, it was covered in this thick piece of leather. And the medicine removed that piece of leather, and underneath it was this beautiful, bright blue, glowing diamond of a heart. And anywhere that it would shine, it would bring light and love and healing. And then I would get in my head again. This is in ceremony. So I would get in my head again, and it would stop glowing. It would go back. It was weird. It would like go, and it would like go back into my chest, and I'd be thinking in my head again. And I'd be like, no, I want to get back to that place. So then I would breathe into my heart, and it would go, and my heart would come out again. And so I learned through this repeated experience where I would have it out, and it would be like shining light into the world, and then I'd get in my head, and it would go back. So I learned, to stay in my heart all of the time. And so that's going to be my work when I go home, is to continually remember that. But I would say, and I mean, that's just one of so many amazing things that happened to me. But I know, like, when I called my husband and I explained that experience to him, he was like crying on the phone, because I've been so stoic for so much of my life, and not trusting, and just really guarded and afraid of intimacy, even though I've been married 22 years. And I've committed now, like, I know because of this experience what I'm capable of. And it's pure love. It is divine love. And I'm here to channel it.
Oh, I love it. Oh, wow. Yes. And that you saw the beauty of your heart, like you had that experience of seeing that. You said it was blue.
Yeah, it's a blue diamond. Yeah, and it actually like can go in and out. Like when it's being activated, it's like out here somewhere.
I love it.
It was a very visual experience.
That's so amazing. Yeah. And Elizabeth, were you ever like scared? I mean, I'm thinking about the first time, like kind of like hesitating. I'm going to go there and I'm going to drink this tea that will alter my state of consciousness, because what we're speaking about now, it's magic. It's like, it's amazing. But going from being in our heads to dropping into our hearts with the support of this medicine, it's a big leap. So how was that for you?
So the first time I told myself I was all in, that I was like shaking like a leaf. The thought of like going into ceremony, and I don't know what exactly I was afraid of. I think honestly it would boil down to not being in control, because as I said, I was like very type A, very linear, analytical, and so that for somebody like that, the thought of not being in control is terrifying.
Yes.
So I think that was a huge part of it. But my only regret after leaving that first week is that I didn't go further. Okay. So I would drink 1 cup, and then the medicine would speak to me and say, you should go get more. And I was like, I think I'm good. And so I kind of felt like I had wasted an opportunity.
Okay.
So when I came back this time, I remembered how that felt. And I made a commitment to go further. And I mean, I was so richly rewarded. I think you were teaching in a class, or maybe it was John, that the universe rewards courage. And I just kept hearing that. And after Monday night's experience of being courageous and being so richly rewarded, come Tuesday, I was like, I'm ready to do this.
Bring it on.
Yeah.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you so much. Thank you. What about you, Paul? So this was your first time.
Yes,
You took
indeed,
you 2.5
was.
days to come here. Did you have any jet lag? I mean, this is kind of like off topic, but I'm curious.
Yeah. I traveled through 4 different countries to get here, and did that journey all by myself, which I hadn't never done before. So I was scared along the way, and sort of wandering out into the darkness, by myself, and with this big journey. But I had that commitment. I had that draw. Something was drawing me here. I knew the support was going to be there when I got there, so I was committed.
Wow.
So yeah.
And can I ask you, what was your, share whatever you feel like
Yeah.
sharing, but like, what was your intention coming here? What was your intention coming all the way here?
To find me, to find me, and what my direction in life was, where I was going, what was the future. I'd spent many years doing lots of different courses, and it seemed like I'd do a course and it'd last a week and then disappear. I'd go back to the default setting. I knew here that through the experience of listening to the reality of truth, that some of the people were saying that it was life changing and it was permanent and it was so revolutionary to them that it was something they could never forget and never let go of. It was just an amazing event that felt so comfortable and so right, with the right commitment.
Love it.
They could move forward easily.
Mm.
That's how I felt. A
Okay.
bit confused, a bit hesitant, but
Okay.
on the first night, with the first night was with breathwork, and the first night straight into it, had an understanding of how my mother felt in her journey with me, because I had a spouse pass away prior to me after birth, and I was never could understand why my mother was so sad, angry, and confused. And in that message, to me, I was also confused as a child, and that was answered in the first night. Not something I was expecting, which was
Just with breath work.
Just with
That's
breath
the
work,
amazing
yeah,
part.
yeah.
Yeah.
And all the way through, what I expected or what I thought logically was going to happen or what I wanted to happen was not what happened.
Right.
Something bizarre. What I needed, Mother Ayahuasca gave it to me and just placed it in front of me to be amazed at and just take it.
Yeah.
Take it easily with confidence. Fear, but confidence.
Yeah.
There's contradiction.
Yeah.
And just immersed myself in the journey.
Yeah.
So I had that understanding of my mother, and
Which is huge.
yeah.
We don't think those memories or those things, or at least, when I've done inner child work or going in the past, when you find those moments and they're so impactful for the rest of our lives.
That was the
that
start.
when we understand,
Yep.
that's
Exactly.
the miracle.
Exactly.
Mm.
It was like the fuel. It was the right fuel to then lead me onto a better life. It was like I was running on the wrong fuel
Yeah.
with the information I had for years of my life, just confused. And I had an inner strength of fighting. And I was told by one of the shaman, you're like a warrior, and you're very strong. And she said, tell me your story about your life. And I said, well, physically, I grew up playing football and very strong. And I said, I should be dead. I should have died 3 times, major accidents, and falling backwards on the concrete, and most other people possibly could have passed away. So she said, you're a warrior. But in that warrior, it also held feelings, love, support away.
Yeah.
And just in knowing that, I was then able to let that barrier down, let love in, and my heart just blossom and feel love.
So beautiful. Oh, I'm so glad.
Yeah.
And what I love about both of your testimonies is that we have not the same situation, but similar, where we're in this world protecting ourselves, controlling, not allowing in, not allowing intimacy. And when we because deep down we always know that we're doing something that is not allowing us to live fully.
Yeah.
And here we are, we take the lead, we say, okay, I'm gonna drink the tea, I'm gonna allow her to do the work in me. And at the end it's the same result, like our hearts open up. And it's just so beautiful. So for those of you who are watching and you're thinking, well, can I do this for myself? It could be like I'm a man and I feel like I don't want anybody to see my emotions, or I'm a type A person and I'm always been in control. I freak out just the thought of losing control. Well, here we have beautiful testimonies of people that have said yes and now are feeling it right. Now, before we went live, we were talking about the power of community. What happens here at Rythmia? That Rythmia is this beautiful container. Jerry has done a wonderful job putting all the pieces together. Like, I mean, this runs with such a smoothness and perfection. For the clients to have a great time. And there's so much magic that nobody, no man, no human can control or can predict. And one of those things, besides the medicine, the magic of the medicine, is community. So, Elizabeth, would you share with us how you felt this week with community?
It's just amazing. Like, people feel so safe to share, intimate details of their lives. And then when we're processing the next day together, just knowing that you've been through this experience together, and it gives you this level of just security and connection that will never leave. I will be connected to these people until I take my last breath. I mean, it's like your soul family.
Yeah. Yeah.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Very true.
Yeah. It's almost like, I mean, I know it for some people might sound a bit too out there, but what I feel is like your soul made a commitment to find each other. I mean, in many instances in life, but here at Rythmia, because you're in the medicine, you can see it. It's not just words. You're like, we are meant to know each other.
Right.
True. Very true. Well,
What about you? What did you feel about the community or the people that were here this week?
it was just the support. It was the letting down of the barriers of the males and the females. And looking at people initially and thinking, oh, what's that person like? Feeling a bit of fear, but then immersing yourself into how everyone had made that commitment. And in that commitment, all the barriers come down, and you thought, well, I can give myself totally lovingly to this person, and vice versa. And you empathise with them. You felt empathy with the lessons that they were teaching you, and vice versa. And it was just a holistic thing. Like I said before, from the smiling gardeners, cleaners, and staff that lead you in, and the shaman, just everyone. It's just welcoming you and loving you unconditionally. And that's something that we all wish for ourselves as well as other people. So the barriers were down. It was easy. Made it easy.
I've heard people come in here and say, like, I feel that this is a glimpse and where the world is going, like the new earth.
Yes.
We're at the dawn of that new, the new earth. But Rythmia here, where you live in a week, it's like the dawn of what humanity could be. Imagine going to work or with your neighbors and you just don't have any guard, like you're just open there.
Free, totally free to be and do what you wish. Without judgment.
Like children. When you see
Childlike.
children playing, they're just unconditionally playing with each other without any programming.
I thought one of the best analogies was that row your boat. That's such a simple little nursery rhyme that I never really thought about. And then when it was put forward, the teaching of that, it was just, that's it. It's, I think as humans, sometimes we complicate things. And here, it's all clarified. And so the barriers are down. There's all the support to enable you to move forward and grow.
Okay, that's very cool. So any other thing that you would like to share just before we say goodbye? Would like to share for those who are watching about Rythmia, about if they're hesitating, making the decision of coming here, what would you say? Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Just if you're being called, you know, like I was saying, the universe rewards courage. And I just remember when I was in the shuttle from the airport, I could literally feel my spirit dancing. She was like, "We're back," you know? I mean, it's such a great place, from the food to the classes. The whole program has been created. I remember after my first trip here, people were asking me, and I said it exceeded my expectations in every arena, like every area. It exceeded my expectations, and I will definitely be back.
Yeah,
Sure.
Definitely.
So good.
Yeah. I wish I could come. I'd like to come every year.
Yes. ¿Por qué no? Why not? Oh, good. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you so much. What about you, Paul? Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Oh yes, well, I'd like to come back one day too. Exactly. It just feels so easy, so peaceful, so welcoming, that I just want to stay.
Right.
I want to go, but I must go to learn and hopefully even teach and pass what I know, what I've learned, some of the healings that I've had, and give that to my family and friends. But yeah, the support was the most amazing thing, and the facilities are just second to none, and the food. It's amazing. Yeah. So, it's hard to express how much joy you get from an opportunity like this. But once you commit, it'll all come together, and you'll be on your journey. You'll be on your way.
That's true. Thank you. Thank you both for saying yes. Thank you both for being warriors, light warriors, as they call them here. And thank you for being open and available, because this place gives you all the resources, and you have to do the work at the end of the day. And you guys did it.
Yeah.
And here we are celebrating your courage. Thank you for that phrase. Yeah. Universe rewards courage. All right. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you. Like this video, comment, share it with your friends, and we will see you next Saturday in another